Hi, so addendum for day 19 of the epic trip of epicness. This used to be my old barn. Now it is a barn museum because there are no barns at Milton Hershey School anymore. So this is such a trip for me. This is so bizarre. Now, when we were milking, we didn't have the pails and all that, the old style thing like they did back in the day. We had electric milkers, but they go into that further up. So check this out. This used, I mean, you can still sort of smell it. Kind of stunk in here. It kind of smelled like cow poop. And all this stuff of these displays are sort of the old way before we did it, 1930s to 1950s. So a lot of this doesn't apply to what my life was like. We used to have to stack the tops. Now, we didn't have a pulley system. We actually had to pass these off and stack the barns with hay and straw every summer. It was 110 degrees and 98% humidity, and we'd just be up there and sweating and covered in hay dust and all that. And they were running them at a loss, but that was because Milton Hershey was trying to install a work ethic in people. So we didn't make money at the barns, but he did it so that the students would learn to work hard. This is more like the setup we had when I was there. Oh. So this is more like the setup we had when I was here at this barn. This looks pretty much like it. We have the electric milkers. You'd do it by hand into strip cups to test it, make sure they didn't have mastitis or anything. And then these milkers you would put on, and you'd move it from cow to cow. And the milkers had two hoses. The clear hose that the milk went out, and, oh my gosh, and they fall off, and you have to catch them real quick because you're like, oh my God, they fell down. And then with the suction, you have to pop them back on. That was unexpected, but that happened to us. And you get it back on there, because it was filthy down there. You didn't want them to land. If they landed, you had to be right on it to grab it. So the clear hose would pull the milk into the suction tube, and then the black hose had the pulse. So one was pulsing, and one was, so this is pulsing that would squeeze the around the teats. It would squeeze them, and then
you can hear the sound effects too.
And you hear the sound effects. You hear that? And this is just like when I was there. This was probably from this very barn. The cows stick their heads through, they just eat at the trough. These are their water dishes, this thing where they would just push down with their nose, and that would fill the water like a water fountain. And look, they even have a little sample here to feel what it's like. Stick your finger in there and you get your finger sucked on. And then these are probably the actual wash sinks that we had. So we'd wash the strip cups, we'd wash the milkers at the end of every day. And then it would all come through here into this room, and this room would have the storage. The tank was actually probably about twice this size. It looks like it's cut off here. It was about twice the size, and this is where the milk would come in, and it would be heated in here, and then the milk trucks would come and collect it. And they didn't use the milk in the milk chocolate, strangely enough. They bought it from somewhere else. This went to a different dairy that bought our milk. And so this is now a museum, but I was in this room. I was in here milking and getting up twice a day to milk cows.
And your school is just that,
yep.
where your house was.
Yeah, my house was right down there. We showed it to you yesterday. That's now the transitional housing. So my student home was right down the hill, and then this was my barn. And I spent a lot of hours in here. We'd milk cows twice a day, early in the morning and after school. And this is now a museum, and it's so weird. So there's your next addendum for day 19. And this is probably the last video from Hershey, because we're going to head on to Belmar, New Jersey, and go visit Katie's aunt.
So do one last little thing here.
One last little pass around to show this thing.
Interesting on how butter is made for all the butter churners.
That's right, how ice cream is made.
Oh wait, there's a button.
Oh, what's it do?
Special effects.
Ooh. Now we didn't make butter here, we just milked the milk and sent it out. To show us how ice cream is made, milking the cow. But that was me. I mean, it's not a picture of me, but that was me. When the udders started to run low, you'd have to actually hold down the milkers to get them to suck. But as they're running low, they could also fall off because they're starting to get not as full. And down below is all this straw, and you didn't want them to suck in straw and contaminate the milk. So it was a big bad thing if they fell out. You have to grab them. And then when they were done, you'd dip them with a little dip cup that had cocoa butter in it, strangely enough, from Hershey, and that would seal them up and keep them from getting infections. So There you go. There is the museum that was once my barn here in Hershey. Day 19.